And Tasha, we are live on
Okay.
Thursday nights. All right, I'm going to start it off right now. And guys, welcome to Tangy Tea of Life. Here we talk about any and everything, and tonight is a special show. It's kind of out of the ordinary, but like I said, we talk about any and everything. And tonight, parents with young children, we will be sharing some important information tonight. Let me introduce my guest, Tasha Douglas. She is the owner and supervisor of PD Kids LLC. Tasha and I went to school together, so I know Tasha personally, but she's here to spill some tea, some great information for parents out there who kids may be having a delay of like speech and things like that. But I'm gonna let Tasha tell you more. Tasha, I'm pretty sure a lot of people may not know. Please let everyone know what PD Kids LLC is all about.
We are an early intervention agency, private agency. We fall under the BabyNet umbrella, IDEA Part C. And we provide early intervention services to children, infants and toddlers ages 0 to 6 years old. Who come through the referral system through BabyNet. They have developmental delays, autism, anything under that umbrella. It could be a speech delay, a gross motor delay, a cognitive delay, or self-help or personal social delay. And we provide the services in what is called a child's natural environment. With that being said, that's their houses, daycares, grandma's house, auntie's house, wherever the child is, that's where the service is provided.
Oh, so that's awesome. So they don't have to come to you all.
We go to them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
If a child have delays, like you say, in speech, or language, or social skills, that is something to be concerned about. So, is it best to start getting treatment when the parent first notice it, or should they wait to see if the kid is going to grow out of it? Like, how does that work? Is it best to go as soon as they notice that the child is having problems?
I personally believe the earlier you put in intervention, the better for the child. Right. But I understand the wait and see approach. But even with your child receiving, let's say you have a 1-year-old, you realize he's really not saying that many words. Right. So then you make a referral to BabyNet for early intervention. The early intervention, the child is deemed eligible for the services. The early intervention comes out and start working with the child. Sometimes I like to tell parents we can do what they call a wait and see kind of thing. Go ahead and enroll your kids in the service. Let the early interventionists come out, work with your child once a week. Let's say 6 months from that date, you realize your child is now, the vocabulary has picked up. You can stop the services. Oh, okay. But to me, it's not a bad thing. Right. I tell people too, it's best to be going proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah, you don't want to wait the last minute and then something serious, like a little too late,
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be best to go as soon as you see the problem.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get it taken care of. So what is the age limits again that you all start the intervention with the kids?
BabyNet kids are 0 to 3. But then you have your DDSN, which is Disabilities and Special Needs Board kids. They can get that eligibility. Those are your 3 to 6 year olds. So
Okay.
we service 0 to 6 year olds. But it's just that your 0 to 3 year olds come under the BabyNet program, and your 3 to 6 year olds come under the DDSN program, which is a different way to go into the eligibility, so the child can receive early intervention.
Gotcha. So do the child have to have a referral? Like, who refers the child? Do they have to go to the doctor to be referral to you? Or how does that work?
Anybody can make the referral for the child. But with that being said, you have to have the parents' permission. For example, if I had a niece or a nephew that I saw can benefit from early intervention, yes, I can make the referral, but it's the parents' information that I'm giving over. That's why I need the parents' permission. The doctor offices also do make the referrals as well. I found out they have to have the parents' permission, because they have a discussion with the parent before they make the referral. So the main thing is just having the parents' permission when the referral is made, because when you call into BabyNet and you make that referral, you're going to have to give the parents' contact information, the child's date of birth, the child's address, the parent's telephone number, and all of that. And then BabyNet is going to contact the parent or guardian in order to start the ball rolling with the services.
Jeez. So even a grandparent would have to get permission from that parent.
Yes, ma'am. If the grandparent does not have guardianship of the child, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, even if they see little Tim struggling, they still have to get permission from that parent.
From
How
the
about
parent.
that parent be like, ain't nothing wrong with little Timmy. Stay at our business.
Unfortunately, that happens. And that's kind of out of our control, because again, it's the parent's right as the parent of the child. And again, you're giving over HIPAA information when you make that referral for the child. So, you have to walk that fine line when you do that, because it can turn that can possibly turn kind of ugly, because again, you're talking about HIPAA information that you're giving. So that's why the parent is the one that has to sign all of the paperwork, where the parent or the guardian, whomever that is, they're the ones that have to sign all the paperwork. But one thing about that though, I tell some grandparents or whomever like that, eventually, if there is a problem, someone will catch it, because in South Carolina, when you turn 5, you have to go to school.
Right.
So eventually someone will catch it, being the school district. Right. But it is best if it's caught early and intervention is put in place early. The earlier, the better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are some of the signs that parents need to be looking out for?
Okay. For example, excuse my notes, I'm nervous. For example, communication wise, usually when a child is 0 to 3 months old, think about a baby when they're 0 to 3 months old. The baby will smile at you. Some babies will laugh. When they're between like 9 to 12 months old, 9 months to 12 months old, a lot of times they can point to objects and people. Where's mommy? They can point to mommy. Where's daddy? They can point to daddy. If you have a pet in the house, where's the dog? They can point and show you the dog. Things like that. But with that being said, with me saying this though, I need every parent to understand, no 2 kids are alike.
Right.
You might have one child that talked earlier than the other. Does that mean that second child is delayed? Not necessarily so. Some kids just choose to move at a different pace than others.
Right.
So we tell parents these things. You look at these milestones, they call them developmental milestones, but it's not necessarily law, if you get what I'm saying. But to me, as a parent, you know your child, and you know when something is not developmentally on task.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Tasha.
Oh, and I was gonna say, like, Cognitive for your 0 to 3-year-olds, tracking objects in all directions, up, down, side to side. You get a rattle, a rattle that lights up and plays music, the baby will visually track it in all directions. That's something to look at. Like your 3-year-olds might assume different role play, imaginary play, fantasy play, pretend to talk on the telephone, pretend that the cup is the phone, and have a whole conversation, whether you know what they're saying or not, but they're pretending. Pretend play is a good thing. That's right. Another thing. Experiment with cause and effect. For example, if the child is sitting at a table and they have a car, if I roll this car to the end of the table, will it fall off the table? So the child tries it and it do it, and they just loving it. So they just, they keep doing it. That's cause and effect. Things like that.
Yeah.
But different ages, different stages have different developmental milestones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how about the parents that just wait until their children, like it's time for them to go to daycare, or they're at that age where, I'm not talking about baby, like hand baby, like they're at the age where they're walking, they're talking, but they're not doing these things with their kids to even figure out if their kid have a problem or not. Like they're not saying, where's the dog, or how many teacups do you see, or, and then when they get to school, that's when the problem occurred. But like you said, all parents should know their child. I mean, they should be watching out for these things, but the ones that's not really focusing, on little Timmy, reading his numbers 1 through 10 or what, like they're not really paying attention to that until it's too late. They're already in school. Like, how do y'all handle that? Then say if it's past 6, what is there a program for kids older than 6?
You have things put in place in the school district. For example, if the child is 1st, 2nd grade, and you're noticing my child is just they're not where they need to be. Yeah. As the parent, you're your child's biggest advocate. That's what parents need to know. First off, you're your child's biggest advocate. You can go to the school, have a meeting, and call either you want an IEP put in place for assistance with your child, or you just want to have a meeting, just talking to the school district personnel about what can be done for your child.
Yeah, see, that's my concern. Like the parents that don't, and I know this kind of going over, but I'm just concerned with the parents that's not really doing these things for their kids. Like they're like, whatever. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah.
In situations like that, can that teacher or that principal or whoever get involved and go to someone, or would they still have to get permission from that parent? I'm not. Did you answer that earlier?
When it comes to the school district, it's still parents' choice. At the end of the day, they can bring it to the parents' attention. I think the school has some leeway with it, but at the end of the day, I want to say it's still kind of parents' choice, because at the end of the day, that child belongs to the parent, not to the school district.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If in our line of work, we see it sometimes too, even with some of the kids that we work with, because what happens is with our kids as well, when the baby net kids are 2 years, 6 months old, we do a referral to the local school district, whichever county that is that they're in, letting them know that, hey, we're servicing this child in your district. Baby net is servicing your child in this district. And then when the child is 2 years, 9 months, we inform the parent that they can participate in what is called a transition conference. What that is the parent, the child, and the EI meet for the school district to tell them what the school has available for the child if the child qualifies for it at the age of 3. Some parents opt in for the transition conference, some parents do not.
Yeah.
And with that being said, some of our parents who do not, yes, we wish they would, but
Right.
It's parents' choice at the end of the day. All we can do is just tell them about it, inform them about it, and then we let them know you can always change your mind later, and you can still go back to the school district and have this meeting.
Yeah. So that's just that just concerns me when it comes to the parents that's not really concerned, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they still had to go through the parent to get that final say. But yeah, you answer that. Let's see. Get some comments here. Shamice, what a wonderful agency to assist the children and their families in their natural environments. Prevention and intervention is so needed for all children. And that is so true.
Yeah.
What about social development? I think you said something about that, didn't you, Tasha?
Personal social, like your 0 to 3-year-olds, we work on that as well. See, with early intervention, we cover like 5 areas. It's personal social, self-help, cognitive, communication, and your motor skills, being fine motor and gross motor. With your personal social, that's where your kids show affection, laugh, smile, play along with toys for 15 minutes, entertain self with toys. That's that aspect of it. Your self-help area is things such as your child putting on a hat, taking a hat off, telling his or her first name, holding their cup to drink out of by themselves independently. That's your self-help. Your cognitive, again, is your assuming different roles in fantasy play, sorts by size, big and little, recognizing shapes, colors, things such as that. Your communication is just that, communication, verbal. Receptive communication, and just your communication. Your fine motor is your, of course, like your hands, turning the doorknob, building blocks, clapping their hands, holding the bowl and stirring. And naturally, your gross motor is your physical, running, walking, crawling, pulling to a stand, rolling from their back to their stomach, from their stomach to their back, things like that. And we work on all of those things with your child. If your child is showing a delay in those areas, and if that's what you want the EI to work on.
Okay.
I think my camera froze.
Oh no, you good.
I am okay because it froze on my end.
Yeah, you on a little delay, but you're good.
Okay.
I'm going to our viewers little comment. Lillian says my baby just started with baby net services. He turned 2 on Halloween, and they have been wonderful.
But that's good. That's excellent.
Right. Hey, Lillian. Shamice, what happens if you or your staff enter a home and there are visible signs of neglect? What else is done for that child or family?
Okay. We like to tell the parents, even though we're not DSS or CPS, we are mandated reporters. So with that being said, if we see something, we have to report it.
Right.
Yes. Right. So if we go into a home,
that's only right.
Yes. Yes.
So y'all report it.
Yes.
Let's see. Go ahead, Tasha. You saying something else?
Yeah. What I like to tell my EIs is, if they, because I'm not in all houses, my EIs go out in houses as well. So they're the eyes, they're in the house. Right. If you see something, come back, let me know. Then the next week, I can possibly go out to the house with you so I can kind of assess the situation as well. And then if the both of us come to an agreement where, wait a minute, okay, something's going on here, then we have to report it. Because again, at the end of the day, we are all mandated reporters.
Right. And that's for the safety of the child. Like,
yes, ma'am.
That's only right. So Tracy says, how does your agency identify what delays he or she may have? What tests/exams do you use and other sources are used to help the child with their delays?
Okay. What happens is when a parent or a doctor or whomever makes the referral to BabyNet for the child, the referral goes to the BabyNet office in Columbia. Columbia then contacts the parent to make sure the information in the system is correct. Then what they do is they forward the referral to the BabyNet SPO office in the different regions in the state of South Carolina. And someone from that office called a BabyNet coordinator then contacts the parent to schedule a day and time for them to come into the office to have an eval done. But I know with COVID now, they're doing the evals and the initial evals over the telephone now, if the parent so wishes. They meet with the parent. They do an assessment. I think it takes about 2 hours, what BabyNet does. They do an assessment with the parent, asking questions from birth to present day, as well as a different type of evaluation that they do called the Patel. Then they score it and they deem the child either eligible for services or not eligible for BabyNet services. If the child is deemed eligible for BabyNet services, what they do then is they show the parent a list of providers who cover that county. The parent has to choose their first, second, and third choice off that list. Then BabyNet contacts the first choice off the list. Let's say it's PD Kids. They will contact me. Hey, I have a client, little Johnny, 2 years old, qualified for BabyNet services. Mom chose your agency. Are you able to accept this referral? I say yes. They send the referral over to me. They email the referral packet over to me. I then, myself or one of my EIs, whichever the area is, then contacts the parent or guardian to schedule the initial CBA, which is a curriculum-based assessment, and IFSP, which is an individual family service plan. Now the child is eligible, but we just have to come out and do a curriculum-based assessment with the parent and do an individual family service plan so we can discuss what the parent want us to work with the child on. After that is done, then you start coming out. The EI comes out once a week for an hour and works with the child. They also talk to the parent about other services that the parent possibly is interested in the child receiving, be it speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. And if the parent want those services, then we let the parent know who are the BabyNet providers that service their area. The parent chooses choice of provider. We give them choice of provider. The parent chooses the provider, and then we put that in place. Because the EI is not only an early interventionist, they're also a service coordinator as well. We coordinate the services for the child as well.
So how fast is the turnaround? How fast are they able to get in the program? Or is it?
It kind of depends. Sometimes BabyNet can get behind with the referrals, but now lately they have been coming through pretty quick. But once let's say your child comes through the BabyNet system, you choose PD Kids, we're contacting you within a week to schedule all of the initial paperwork to get services started. It kind of just depends on how fast BabyNet processes the referral.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not like a waiting list where you have to wait like 3 or 4 months to get in.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Well, that's good. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We have more questions. Alberta, where does the school social worker come into play with a child that has delays?
I'm not too sure with the school social worker. Like I said, with BabyNet, when the child turns 2 years, 6 months, We do what is called a transition referral to the local school district, letting them know that we're servicing the child. And when the child is 2 years, 9 months, then what we do is we do the transition conference. If the parent or guardian wants one, we do the transition conference with the local school district, and they let the parent know the services that they have for the child. And then what happens after that is the school district schedule a day and time to do an evaluation on the child. And that's going to determine whether or not your child gets in 3K in the school district or not. With that being said, not all of our BabyNet kids, when they age out at the age of 3, they don't go into the school district. But we like to tell the parents that's not a bad thing. Only your kids who are still showing delays normally get into the local school districts at 3 for 3K. 3K is not open for every child in the local school district. 3K is only open for children who are still showing delays.
Gotcha.
So if they go through the eval process with the school district at 3 and they don't qualify for 3K in the school district, we like to tell the parents that's a good thing, not a bad thing. But for those who do qualify for 3K, that's not a bad thing either. That's also a good thing as well. That means that your child can continue to keep getting services needed. But we really don't deal with a social worker on that because it's a developmental delay. It's not, it's more, we deal more with the special education department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Are there any other professionals that you coordinate with to service the child?
Yes, we coordinate with developmental peds, speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. That's the majority of who we coordinate services with. Some kids will go in for a hearing eval as well, if the parent has a concern with the child hearing, because sometimes with the speech delay, sometimes it is a hearing issue.
Right.
It's not always that your child has a delay. Sometimes it's a hearing issue.
Right. And that's understandable.
Yeah.
Tracy says, do you provide services for children in Spanish speaking families or families that speak other languages?
Yes, we do. When you have a Spanish speaking family, we use an interpreter. The interpreter goes into the home with the EI and provides the interpretation the entire time. During each visit, your communication always will go through the interpreter as well.
Okay.
And that's a service courtesy of BabyNet. And another thing about these BabyNet services, there are no cost to the parent.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too. I had down here, did I read that services are at no cost for families?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No cost to the families at all. No charge. Yeah.
So that's a great. Is this a crazy question? So you guys are a nonprofit organization?
We're actually not a nonprofit. We're under the BabyNet BDSN umbrella. But no, that's not a crazy question. Okay. BabyNet is funded through DHHS, which is Medicaid.
Gotcha.
That's who funds this. That's who funds BabyNet.
Okay.
Because what we do too, when we go into the homes and let's say mom wants a speech therapist, what we do is we let them know who all the BabyNet speech therapy providers are in that area. That way it is no cost to the parent if they use a BabyNet speech therapist provider, because what BabyNet does is they push in natural environment therapy. So that speech therapist will also come to the parent and work with the child once a week for an hour.
Okay. So how many hours per week does a child get from your services?
For early intervention, it's only 1 hour a week that we can they allow us to bill to service the child. Columbia has told us there are exceptions to the rules. It just depends. For individuals who live in an extremely rural area where where speech therapists are not in that area, there's no physical therapy in the area, and let's say the child is like severely delayed, we can write in and ask permission to see the child more than once a week, because that child would really benefit from having visits more than once a week.
Right.
So sometimes they do give exception to the rule, but it's not all the time. It has to be like a real reason behind why.
Well, I mean, that is good that you all have that option to give the child more time.
Yes. And we do have some very rural areas in the PD where it's hard to get therapists to come in those areas. Yeah. And so with those kids, if the parent wants it, then, the EI can request that. Not saying, you don't know if it's going to be granted or not, but the EI can request it.
Right. So speaking of EIs, Barbara says your EIs, do they need a degree?
Yes, ma'am. In order to be an EI, you have to have at least a bachelor's degree in either psychology, social work, education, human services, somewhere in that field. And they would like for you to have at least 1 year experience working with infants and toddlers.
Okay.
But you do have to have a bachelor's degree in a social science field.
Well, I'm loving it because you have a lot of questions and comments coming through. So, of course, after the live, you can go to the Tangy T page and look at all these comments and stuff that coming through, because I know I'm missing a lot of them because they're coming through fast. So please forgive me for all of you that are sending your comments and I'm not getting to them. I'm not overlooking you. We'll get to those. Of course, Tosh, you can go back and look at the replay or whatever. Like I said, go to the Tangy T page and you can comment on some of these. Penny says, do the parents pay your agency directly, or do your parents pay your agency directly for additional services after their child age out?
No, ma'am. Once the child ages out of BabyNet, unfortunately, that's kind of it with BabyNet. If the parent wants to continue with, let's say the child, it turns 3, and the child did not qualify for school, for 3K in the school district, nor did the child qualify for DDSN eligibility to continue the early intervention after the age of 3. But the parent wants to continue the speech therapy that the child was receiving through BabyNet. Then what we do is we tell the parent then they would have to speak with the speech therapist, and then they would have to get together and decide.
Okay.
Because once the child ages out, that kind of ends it. But we do have some kids before the age of 3, the parents decide to pursue what they call DDSN eligibility, because you see that this child still needs and will still benefit from early intervention. And so that's something that we can pursue as the EI for the parent and the child before the child ages out of BabyNet. So once they turn 3 and they age out of BabyNet, they automatically cross over into the DDSN realm, and the EI just continues to come out and see the child and service the family. Nice. And the family can get that whether or not the family can go for that eligibility whether or not the child gets into the 3K program in the school district or not.
Let's see. I think, did we answer this one already? What type of educational background would one need to become an intervention specialist?
Yes, ma'am. You just got to have a bachelor's degree in psychology, social work, sociology, education. You can even have a bachelor's degree in education, human services, the bachelor's degree, or any related field. For example, if you have a bachelor's degree in business, unfortunately, that does not cross over for early intervention. But it has to be a bachelor's degree in any of like the social sciences field or education.
Okay. Let's see. Lillian, she wrote a lot. Let's see.
Okay.
I really appreciate everything you guys do and all of the services you coordinate. When I started noticing delays in mild autism signs, I got a lot of backlash from my family, but I did not want to be that parent that didn't get my child the help and services he needed. The whole process has been so easy, and even the physical and speech therapist has been so attentive to his needs. I'm thankful for each and every one of y'all. Oh, Lillian?
That's good. That's good. We like to hear that. We really like to hear that. It's just when you start working with the kids, you just love to see the kids progress.
Right.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
That's awesome comment. Thank you, Lillian. Yeah. What inspired you to focus on this population?
Well, my bachelor's is in psychology. And then I got a master's in mental health counseling. And I did my internship at a group home, and those were with your teenagers, and you see some things. And then I started working at the middle school again with the teenagers. You still seeing some things. Right. I got introduced to early intervention through my cousin, who was an EI at the time. Never heard of it before until then. Was introduced to it through her. Got in with the agency. That was 2008. Started working as an EI, and I just realized the earlier you work with the child, the better. Because again, I work with the teenagers and you see it, and then it's like, well, maybe if somebody would have intervened earlier on, maybe things would have been a little different. So I don't know. I just started doing it, and I love it, because I tell my kids, if I wasn't an EI, I honestly believe I would be an elementary teacher, either 5K to second graders. I love it.
That's awesome. And see, it ain't nothing like getting up and doing something that you love.
Yep.
Oh, because if
my
you don't
family my family used to joke, and they used to say, "Oh, you always changing jobs." This has been the longest career. Again, I've been doing this since 2008, and I have not stopped since.
That's awesome, Tasha. Because I mean, to have someone to come and provide services for your child, and they're like, somebody that don't want to be there, somebody that just dare to collect a paycheck, that's not good. But for somebody to be there that love what they do, that's amazing.
So and the kids and the families, they'll pick up on it.
Definitely.
They pick up on it. They pick up on your energy.
Right, exactly. Well, we thank God for you.
Thank you
for being that person. Let's see.
And I have some awesome EIs too.
Yeah. Well, I know they love working with you. Are services offered to parents/guardians to assist with the child in between visits?
Yes, ma'am. What we do is at the end of every visit, we write up what is called a summary of visits sheet. And on that sheet, of course, it's the child's name, what the date is that the service is being provided, the toys that you used during your visit, the outcomes. They used to call them goals, now they call them outcomes, but it's the same thing. The outcomes that you're working on with the child, and what happened kind of during the visit. And then there's a continuation of activity. And on those two lines, you write a continuation of activity for the parent to continue to work on the child in between the visits with. It can be something as simple as at dinner time, point and name the foods on the plate while you're feeding the child. During bath time, name your body parts. Point at them: toes, nose, eyes. things like that. While dressing little Johnny, verbalize your steps, or discuss, like name the color of the clothing that they're putting on. Something is like, oh, little Johnny, this is a red shirt, before you put the shirt on the baby, or the child. And it's just little things like that. But we write that on that summary of visit sheet for continuation of activities for the parent to keep doing throughout the week until the next visit.
Right. That was a great question, because that's why I asked that question earlier about how many hours do you all, give that child. And yeah, that was a great question. Whoever said that, our services offered to parents and guardians, because meanwhile, while you all already been that week for your hour, at least they have something to go by where they can be, instructing their child, and not just depending on you all to come in for that hour,
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Like I like to tell the parents and my EIs as well: repetition, 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 repetition. And I tell the parents, when we come in and we do a visit, I know it sounds like we are just repeating ourselves over and over again, but that's what you have to do in order for the child to, to catch it. It's just repetition over and over and over again. And eventually the child will get it.
Right.
And, just as adults, you kind of think of it, some of the stuff, you kind of take for granted sometimes, honestly.
Yeah.
And when you go in, you work with the kids and you see what, you have to, this is a dog. Dog says, roof, roof, dog. Yeah. Just trying to get the child to realize that's a dog. And the dog says, roof, roof. So when they hear a dog bark, they know, oh, that's a dog. And after you do that a couple of times, week after week, and let's say the parent continues to work with the child, eventually that child will say dog. And of course, we do a big celebration.
Right. Right. Well, even some adults, you got to keep repeating stuff too, because they don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Tracy says, does your agency track the children that you have provided services to in the public school system? Great question.
No, ma'am. The thing is, once the child ages out of the BabyNet program and the consent forms expire, that's kind of it. Again, you're crossing into HIPAA. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure BabyNet and DDSN in Columbia has a tracking, but as far as the EI agencies themselves, no. Because that would, it's a consent form that has to be signed for things such as that.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure DHHS tracks some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I'm quite sure there's some tracking going on.
Yeah. Yes. But it's just on the EI, our level, the EIs, then no.
Right.
We can't, because the consent forms expire. Once the child ages out, the consent forms age out as well.
Right.
But I mean, now sometimes you will be in local, you will see parents that and of course you see, because matter of fact, I was on the phone with one of my parents. I serviced this child 3 years ago, and she called me last week, and we were on the phone for about an hour.
Wow.
Just giving me an update of the child. So I mean, that's the type of tracking, but that's the parent calling me,
right,
and just giving me an update on it. And then, like you said, you'll see them out sometimes because you're local. So you'll see them out sometimes.
Well, see, and that's a good thing. That means you're doing what you're supposed to do, because for a parent to still contact you after the fact, to keep you up to date on that child, like, that means you meant a lot to them during that time that the child was, when you was going into their home. So, I mean, it's good that you love what you do. And this is another comment that came through. You're great at what you do. Thank you for guiding me when I stepped into leadership position. This is coming from Joni. I think that's her name.
Joni Pendergrass, hey!
Yeah. Thank you for guiding me when I stepped into leadership position. most would withhold information when it comes to guidance/leadership, but you know that you're my go-to person. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Keep doing the great work for our kids.
Thank you, Joni. That's my girl.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Joni is the EI supervisor for Darlington DSM board.
Okay.
And oh yeah. Now I call Joni. I'm her go-to. No, she my go-to.
It's awesome to work with people that you have fun with.
Yeah.
It's not always about business. Like, you can have fun with them. There's no animosity going on. Like, you all get along. Like, that's a great environment.
Yeah, like I tell people, at the end of the day, there's enough kids to go around for everybody, to be honest. So there's no need in, because I mean, like, Joni is with Darlington DSM board. She's the EI supervisor. So of course she got Darlington County. Darlington County happened to be one of the counties that I cover as well. But Joni and I are friends. We talk on the phone.
Right.
We bounce stuff off of each other. Hey, Joni, did you get that email? What you think about the email? We do things such as that because, again, there's enough kids to go around for everybody.
Right. And it's all about the kids. Like,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's what it should be about.
And one agency will never get all of the clients in a county.
Right. So, Lavisha, is that how you say your sister's name?
Yeah.
I thought it was her. Has COVID affected your EI services in the field?
At first it did. When COVID first really showed its face on the scene in March, of course, everybody was kind of scrambling, like what to do. Yeah. By the end of March, naturally, I had to pull my EIs out of the houses because it was still an unknown. So we pulled out of the houses March 27th. We were out April, May, June, July, and August. We did not go back into the houses until school started in September. That's but when we were out of the houses, we offered telehealth, teletherapy. So the visits could be via Zoom or just over the phone. You made weekly contact with the parents. Oh. You had some parents who opt in for the telehealth, and you had some parents who just opt in for the telephone calls.
Right.
It just depends. It was somewhat difficult because you're talking about 0 to 3-year-olds with developmental delays, and you're expecting them to sit in front of a screen for an hour and do a visit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people will say, oh, well, they'll sit on their tablets all day. That's different. Yeah. That's not instruction. That's totally different.
That was a great question, because COVID has slowed, made things so different.
Yes, ma'am.
But at least we have technology to keep us moving,
Yeah. Yes,
so
ma'am.
That's good. And I think all of us are going to be experts when it comes to Zoom and StreamYard.
But now we're back in the homes, but of course we're taking precautions. We wear our masks. I tell my EIs to be careful, disinfect the toys in between every visit. Because I told my EIs, even put a towel in your back seat. Don't take in any more than 2 to 3 toys. When you leave out of the house, spray them down with disinfectant spray. Sit them on the towel in your back seat. So by the time you get to the next house, 15 minutes will pass and the disinfectant spray on the toys will take place. If you have a family and that child happen to have their own toys, use theirs. Don't bring any in.
Yeah.
If you're going into a daycare, use what the daycare has. Do not bring any in. So now we did kind of tweak how we work, because we used to go in with bags of toys.
Yeah.
But so that did kind of stop some of that. You're just a little more you pay attention to things a little more.
Exactly. Let's see. Tanya says, during the family training visit, is it best / mandatory for parent/guardian participation?
Yes, ma'am. At the end of the day, this is a family-centered service. That's why the visits are called family training visits, FT visits. That's what we call them, FTs. We were like, unlike like we tell the parents, when it comes to the early intervention, we are there to teach you what to do with your child. Right. So we prefer, well, the parent does have to participate in the visit. We like the parent to participate, or guardian to participate in the visit. So you will know things to do in between the visits as well. Mm-hmm. Unlike with therapy is more one-on-one. But with early intervention, we're doing a family training visit.
Right. Okay. There's still questions and comments coming through. Let's see. If the family's, this is Shamice, if the family's Medicaid lapse or is discontinued / cancel, what happens to the child services?
They continue. Oh, because again, these baby net services are at no cost to the parent. So right. We just, tell the parent, well, you might want to check on that, try to get it back active if possible, give them a call, see what's going on. But the services will not stop. The services keep going. Because we do have some families with children with no insurance, believe it or not. Yeah. We have your Medicaid, some kids with Medicaid, some kids with private insurance, some kids with no insurance.
Well, that's good to know that it continues.
Yes, ma'am. It does not stop. As long as they're using for like their therapy, speech, physical, occupation, as long as it is a baby net provider, that service will continue. Yeah. As long as they're a baby net child and they're going to a baby net therapist, baby net provider, the services will continue.
Right. So Tanya says, how do you as a supervisor know the quality of service provided by your EI?
Supervision. Reading the service notes. Yeah. After doing this for so long, you can kind of read a service note and you can tell when something's not quite right. Another thing, calling the parents. Exactly. Every now and again, just calling. How are things going? Are you satisfied with the services that you're receiving? If you need anything, please feel free to give me a call. QA in the files, another thing. Comparing what's in the file to what's on the system. That's QA in the files.
Right. So John says, like with most school systems, is there a demand for male intervention specialists?
I don't know, but I happen to have a male EI. And the families love them. So I think, I don't know if there's a demand, but
do they love him because he's sexy? Or they love him because he's
I hope Tracy watching. I hope he watching. Now, actually, honestly, Tracy is very good at what he do.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, he's good. He's good at what he does, and that's why the families like him.
Awesome.
And he likes what he does.
Yeah, that's the thing. You gotta love what you do to. So Retta said, hi ladies. Hi Retta. This has been very informative.
With an Amaretta.
Yep.
Hey.
Carmisha said, what a great service.
Thank you.
Hey Vondell.
Hey.
She said, hey cousin. So Tasha, another question that I had down here is let everyone know the services you all provide. Let's see, services are provided in the child's environment. And you said that like the schools, the daycares, at homes. So they don't have to, well, yeah, you already answered that. They don't make visits to your office. You go out to them. So you answer that one. My next question. So what counties do you all cover?
PD Kids cover Darlington, Florence, Chesterfield, Marlboro, Marion, Dillon, Kershaw, and Lee counties.
Wow.
So I cover 8 counties.
So you have to go to 8 counties? You personally?
I have EIs I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 EIs plus myself, so it's 6 of us. For example, Tracy covers Marlboro, Marion, Dillon counties. Kimberly McAveen, his name is Tracy Gilchrist. He covers Marlboro, Marion, Dillon counties. Kimberly McAveen covers Darlington, Florence counties. Latasha Goodson covers Darlington, Florence counties. Tanya Wingate covers Darlington, Florence, and Marion counties. Tondra Sowell, she covers Chesterfield, Kershaw, and Lee County, and I cover everything in between.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know quite a few of those names that you called. Okay. Nice. So I think this is this Tracy? Let's see. Tracy Wigfall? Is this the
No, my EI is Tracy Gilchrist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tracy wants to know, do you have a website? If so, what is your agency web address? And that was the question that I had down, Tasha. Please let everyone know that's watching how to get in contact with you, the office, for your services, website, Facebook page, whatever information that it is that you can provide for someone who's watching that their child may be experiencing delays and they don't know how to start.
Okay. You can contact me. My phone number is area code 843-230-8824. Or you can email me at info at pdkids.com. And that's PEEDEE kids, KIDS.com. And my website is www.pdkids.com.
Awesome.
And another way that parents can make referrals as well, you can contact BabyNet directly and make the referral. You can either call the central office, the BabyNet central office, at 1-866-512-8881. Those are for your 0 to 3-year-olds. Those are your BabyNet kids. Or you can go on the BabyNet website. You can Google South Carolina BabyNet, go on their site, and they have an online referral form. The parent can click that form and make the referral. For your 3 to 6-year-olds, for the DDSN referrals, you will have to contact the DDSN eligibility, that's the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs Board. Their number is 1-800-289-7012. And with them, expect to be on the phone for at least about 15 minutes.
Now, Tasha, BabyNet.
Yes.
BabyNet. I'm trying to get all this in. BabyNet, the service that everyone have to go through first to get to you, or can they go directly to you? Or everyone have to?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
They can contact me directly, but I will still have to make a referral in the BabyNet system.
Gotcha.
So BabyNet is the middleman, so to speak.
Right.
Yes. BabyNet is who will determine whether your child is eligible or not eligible for BabyNet services. And again, how that works is you, the doctor, me, by way of you, make the referral to BabyNet for your child. BabyNet then will contact you stating that a referral was made for, let's say, little Johnny. Do you want to continue with the referral? You tell BabyNet yes. They make sure all the contact information that was put into the referral form in the system is correct. You say yes. Then they tell you, well, we're going to forward this to one of the BabyNet SPO offices. They forward the referral to the BabyNet SPO office. Then a BabyNet coordinator contacts you. The BabyNet coordinator schedules a day and time for you to either come into the office or for them to do the eligibility, the intake process over the telephone. Then on that date and time, the BabyNet coordinator contacts you again. They go through an assessment. They use what is called the Patel assessment. Depending on the child's score, that's going to determine the child eligible or not eligible. But with that being said, if you have, for example, if your child was a preemie, your child sometimes is automatically eligible for baby net services. If your child comes in with the diagnosis already, your child is sometimes automatically eligible for baby net services. And they will tell you that because they will ask you certain things about, is your child a preemie or not? Does your child have a diagnosis or not? They go through all of that question. They ask all those questions with you. Once your child is deemed eligible for baby net services, what baby net will do then is, if you don't know who you want to choose for EI services, they will give you a list of all the providers who are providing services in the county which you live in. They'll tell you choose your first, second, or third pick. Then what they do is they contact your first pick off of that list. Let's say it's PD Kids. They'll contact me. Hey, we have a referral that chose your agency. Are you able to accept this referral? I say yes. They email me over the intake packet. I then either assign it to one of my EIs or to myself. And one of the 6 of us will give you a call to schedule all the initial paperwork that has to be signed. And then once that paperwork is signed, the visits start. And then at that initial signing of the paperwork, what we end up doing is coming up with that IFSP I talked about. That's the Individual Family Service Plan. What that plan is, you developing your child goals, what services you want for your child, be it speech therapy, occupation therapy, physical therapy, when and how frequently you want your child to receive the services, and where you want your child to receive the services. For example, you might say, well, my child goes to daycare Monday through Friday, so the services will be held at the daycare. Mm-hmm. Like that. And then it goes from there. Everything starts.
Okay, but
now for your 3 to 6 year olds, the process is a little different. That process is totally different. Yeah, for your 3 to 6 year old kids, that's that DDSN referral. That's the parent would have to, let's say a parent calls me, they have a 4-year-old. My child is displaying these things. I would like my child evaluated for services. Okay, I would give them that 1-800 number for the DDSN eligibility. The parent has to call that number. The parent will let them know the child's full name, date of birth, social security number, Medicaid number if the child has it. If not, it's no problem. Home address and contact number. What they'll then do is give the parent a list of intake providers. Again, I'm on that list as well. PD Kids is on that list. The parent chooses their intake provider. That intake, then they send that referral over to me in a separate system that we use for our over 3-year-olds. I accept that intake. Then I contact the parent and I let the parent know I received your child's referral from DDSN for, over 3 services. I will need to meet with you to, again, go over some paperwork, and whatever information that parent has pertaining to that child's possible delay, we will collect at that meeting. It can be an IEP. It can be an evaluation done by developmental PED or any other evaluation done. Anything such as that. Let's say that parent does not have that. What I can do is CBA, the curriculum-based assessment with the parent. Once I meet with that parent and I get all of that done, I upload that into a system. That gets sent back to Columbia to DDSN. They decide off of that paperwork whether that child is eligible or not eligible for DDSN services. If that over 3-year-old is deemed eligible for the services, then they send the parent a letter stating this child is eligible for services. Here are a list of providers who can provide EI services or whatever services for your over 3-year-old child. Again, you have to choose off of that list.
Right.
Hopefully you'll choose PD Kids, but if not, I understand.
Right. And
you choose off that list. Yeah.
That was a question too. So it's pretty much word of mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Word of mouth reputation. Yes, ma'am. That's why I'm very protective over my agency's reputation.
Right, exactly. Word of mouth.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
I'm quite sure there's a lot of providers probably out there, you
Yeah.
know, but we will all remember PD Kids LLC.
Thank you. Thank you. That's 843-230-8824.
Yes. Give that number again, Tasha.
843-230-8824. And if they go on my website, www.pdkids.com, there's a link on there for info, and they can click on that, fill that out. That comes to my email with any questions that they have, and I can get in contact with them that way as well. And there's your information on there for your DDSN kids as well as your BabyNet referrals as well. You can click that link on my website and it'll take you directly to the BabyNet online referral form.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Miss Barbara want to know, are you hiring?
At this time, no. But hopefully in the future, in the near future, hopefully.
Right. Tashika says, great job.
Hey, Ty. I know Ty.
Did I say that right? Is it Tashika?
Yeah.
Okay. John says, does the EI help the parents choose or recommend which public school the child attends to continue their development?
No, sir. When it comes to the public school, it's whichever, county you live in. Okay. We don't even help the parents choose. Let's say we get a child and the parent decides, I want my child to go to daycare. We also help the parent with the ABC vouchers. Okay. But the parent has to either be working or in school in order to qualify. If the parent or guardian is not working or in school, they will not qualify for an ABC voucher. Mm. The parent has to be working or in school. We help them do the application for the voucher, send everything into the BabyNet ABC contact in Columbia. It does not go to, it's the exact same DSS ABC application, but because your child is a BabyNet child, we have our own person in Columbia that handle those ABC vouchers. We send that in, and you'll get some parents say, well, what daycare do you recommend? Unfortunately, we cannot do that. It is all parents' choice.
Yeah. And speaking of parents' choice, everyone keep in mind that even though the referrals can come from the doctor and the grandparents, but that parent still have to sign for anything to take place.
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to all of that intake paperwork and that initial paperwork, it has to be either the legal parent or legal guardian that signs that paperwork. Now, when it comes to the visits can be at the daycare. Of course, the staff signs the visit form, but the intake paperwork, legal guardian or legal parent only.
Right. Alberto says, proud of you. Good job.
Thank you. That's my mommy.
Oh, great job, Tasha. Thank you so much for coming on the tea and spreading this very important information. Because
thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Like I said earlier, a lot of people don't know about these services. They hear about them and maybe they are afraid or maybe ashamed to even take that step to get help for their children. But working with someone like you, they can't go wrong because you love what you do and you can just see it in your face that you love your job. So that's really,
thank you.
Yeah, that's really important. So viewers out there, if you have a child or someone with a child that has delays, please reach out to Tasha. Well, I call it Tasha.
I told you my in-laws call me Tasha. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, cool. So make sure you reach out to PD Kids LLC. You can contact Tasha at 843-230-8824. That's 843-230-8824 for more information. And Tasha, once again, your website and other ways that they can contact you.
My website is www.pdkids.com, and you have to spell out PD Kids, PEEDEE Kids, KIDS.com. Or either you can email me at info@pdkids.com.
Thank you so much. Sherry says, great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great information. Yeah, you have a lot of comments, Tasha. So make sure you go back to the page and check out all these comments if you want to, respond back to them. And everyone is showing you love and saying proud of you. And really, really great job, Tasha. And we appreciate the job that you do, helping the kids in our communities. Because without people like you, where will our kids be?
Thank you. Thank you.
Love the kids, love your job, and just doing what God has you here to do. You've been doing it since 2008. Yeah. Of course, you gotta love it. You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, and I thank the parents for allowing PD Kids to service their children and families.
Yes,
I really do. And I thank my EIs. I have the best EIs ever.
Awesome.
The best. Tracy Gilchrist, Tanya Wingate, Latasha Goodson, Kimberly McAvee, and Tandra Sowell. They are the best. And I had one, but she went on to do something else. I can't forget her. Thomasina Blackwell. The best. I got the best EIs ever.
Awesome. Sound like a great group of people.
Thank you. I love my EIs.
Wow. PD Kids LLC. Parents, grandparents, neighbors. If you know someone that know a child that is having delays and you want to reach out to a great service, Tasha, PD Kids LLC. Once again, that number 843-230-8824. That's 843-230-8824. Reach out to someone that loves their job and love working with kids. Thank you again, Tasha, for coming on Tangy Tea of Life. I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, my nerves finally settled.
You did an awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome job. And I see Tasha popped on here and she said, awesome job explaining the importance of early intervention.
Thank you.
She's awesome, and her EIs. That's Hattie, Miss Hattie.
Oh, hey, Miss Hattie. She's the contact for Dalton County School District for the 3K program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's on here showing love. Well, we appreciate you once again, Tasha. Thank you so much for coming on. Great job. Great job. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And guys, thank you so much for watching Tangy Tea of Life tonight. Here we talk about any and everything. And if you would like to be a guest on Tangy Tea of Life, please email me at tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. That's tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. You can also inbox me right here on Facebook on Messenger. We are live 2 places. We're live right here on Facebook. Of course, you can see that. And we're also live on YouTube. So make sure you head over to YouTube and give me a thumbs up there as well. Guys, once again, thank you so much for showing love tonight. Thank you all for your comments, even though I didn't get to all of your comments. And I'm so sorry, they was coming through so fast. But we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching Tangy Tea of Life. Tasha, hold on for a second. Guys, until next time, we will see you on the tea. Good night, everyone.